sunshine, but make up your life. Wake up, oh, get up, put on the makeup. Oh, wake up, get up, put on the makeup. Wake up and make up with Kristen Nkirote.
We're talking about emotional trauma. I am joined with Jane, and she's a counselor. She's going to be helping us unravel how can you be able to get over grief and live your best life. And I'm joined by Maggie, who's going to be telling us her story of grief and how she's managed to overcome it. Thank you, ladies, for coming.
Thank you.
Now, Maggie, I think we should start with you,
Yes.
because before the counselor steps in and tells us about the steps, let's hear your story.
My name is Margaret Wambugu, and my story is just like any other story of any other human. You know, grief is so common.
True.
Because again, death is inevitable. So you find that everybody at some point in their life they have encountered it. We lost a sister. Her name was Jemima,
sorry
a
about
very,
that.
very wonderful, warm lady.
Just like you, the way she's coming from that lineage.
Yes. If you think I'm something, you should have met her. She was hospitable. She was the kind of person who, like the way we came in here, she would spot something that needs to be done and she would do it.
Wow, that's
she would not
amazing.
ask. And because we got the same church with her, we could see even the way she gave herself. And many people came to love her because she was just a giver. She was a person to go to.
Yeah.
You see those people whom you don't think twice when you are going to approach them,
True.
because they are so welcoming and they are so willing. She had a weakness, and her weakness was that she didn't know how to say no.
That was like her ministry of just giving
I
and
think,
giving and
yes,
giving.
I think
Yeah.
it was. And for some time she became sick. She became sick, and at first we thought it was very bad cancer. When she became sick, because she went to hospital, she went through surgery and a lot of stuff. But the amazing thing with her is that even when she was so sick, you couldn't tell, because she would push herself to the limits. She would still do her duties. She would still go to church. She would still do anything that she was responsible for. And you see, that is the kind of person you don't expect that can just leave you.
True.
So it was so unexpected. We couldn't believe it.
Maggie, before we continue, Jane, you just heard how that's just one of the steps I'm sure we have picked up from there, is that kind of like still trying to attach yourself to that memory through a way of calling. Is it part of the process of healing?
Death and losing loved ones, it is not an easy thing. We may lose objects or items, but losing those people who are attached to us or we are attached to can be very overwhelming. And especially depending on the attachment of that person, how you return to that person, or what the position that this person owned in the family. Like in the case of Maggie, we hear that independent of this person a lot, and she was like a young lady, a strong person.
True.
But so to speak, even for the people who are sick or expectant to one day they will die,
Yes.
it does not really sink to our conscience that we believe it will ever happen.
True.
We'll always have a bit of comfort feeling that there is time and she may not go, something, a miracle might work.
True.
But finally, when the death strikes in, it affects all, whether there's somebody has been sick, or whether it is sickness that is just that has happened abruptly, the experience is just the same.
True.
So when this thing happens, people undergoes some cycle, a kind of a cycle.
True.
And that was before people didn't know it was a cycle like. But from the area of psychology, they came up to know that there is a cycle that people go through when people are affected by the loss.
Okay, and what cycle is that?
Yeah, it means that each and every other day we wake up in the morning, from morning to evening, doing our normal daily activities. And at that time, everything is normal. But when a loved one passes on, it is like the world has been overturned down.
True.
So the person that you are kind of changes the whole system, the emotions, the thinking, that is cognition, and all that. There are 5 stages, actually, as to speak.
Okay.
The first one is shock, which means people experience like numbness in the whole system. It is like their whole body has been shut down.
True.
And it is a good step because it charts the feelings, because that time there are many fronts of feeling that are coming in. So that numbness and shock for a time, not feeling yourself as if you are numb completely, not maybe speaking, you are just there.
True.
And then from shock, the body moves to what we call anger. And now the body starts feeling, yes, it is something has happened.
Are you relating to what she's talking about?
Yes,
yeah, because it's something that I could say I'm also relating, because in looking back to one of the deaths that really hit my life was losing my very close friend, was my grandmother, and losing my son, my firstborn son. And I know what you're talking about. It felt like the world stopped. And everything is just going in slow motion. You know, that pain is so much that, you know, a mother is not supposed to bury her child, you know? So I definitely relate to what you're saying. You get a state of shock where everything has stopped. And then the next is anger.
Yeah.
But one thing I said I won't ask God why. Because even if he gives you the answer, I find what would it have changed? Did you ask why?
Yeah, I definitely did. I did ask why. And yeah, because firstly we were so shocked, like she said, because we were at the hospital actually when it happened. We had just seen her over lunch hour, and when we saw her, she was doing so bad, and I could tell things were not so good. And I called my family and we held hands. We prayed, and
you pray that time like so never hard before.
And and they would tell me, you pray, you're the anointed one of the family. So I prayed fervently. And actually I believed. I have prayed for people and they were healed, and they would get out of hospital and go home. So I had confidence that
it's going to happen.
I know prayers work. So I prayed and I believed. And her breathing became even more worse at that time, the very last time we saw her. And she was doing so bad, and I could tell, and I didn't want to tell my sisters, though they would tell me, what are you seeing? So, and every time we go there, I would massage her feet. So I touched her feet to massage them, and they were as cold as ice. So I was taken aback, and I covered her quickly, and I went outside because I was shocked, because I knew that was not a really good sign. So that's where my shock started. And we didn't go home. We hung around the hospital for 3 hours. I mean, the duration between now the lunchtime and the evening hours. So we stayed there, and while we were there sitting on the grass, we took some snacks and just waited. We had a call from the hospital, and as soon as I heard that call, I knew exactly what had happened. So my sister rose and ran. They literally ran. And I was in so much shock that I couldn't move. I couldn't stand. They left me sitting there, and I could see them running, and I'm immobile. I tried I couldn't take any action. I think it was shock. I was so shocked. I just sat there.